Hi there, Summoners! GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes, and tonight we should be getting the reveal of the next legendary hero to drop into the game in just a couple of days. So I got the trailer pulled up here, we're looking at that forest, and let's get right into it and see who we've got in store. So, wait for the text to leave, there we go. Alright, a new legendary... Oh! That's Fates. Oh, hey! Male Corrin. He's looking pretty dapper, I gotta say. So, that is going to be Hoshido's Breath. He's going to be a green dragon infantry. Dragon Fang Shot. Speeder has finished 4. High Dragon Wall. Oh boy. More dragon shenanigans. Can trigger his special over and over. And he's got a Divine Vein, it looks like, as well. We'll see if it's going to be a unique Divine Vein. Oh, look at the clash against Anankos. Mikoto behind him, too. I like that. That's cute. That's cute. Okay. Hoshido's Breath. So it is going to be a defensive special, it looks like. And an offensive special. Oh, man. Alright. And then he insta-charges afterwards, too. Why wouldn't he? Let's see. Oh, man. Alright, so these heroes also appear in this event. Got Legendary Faye, okay. Got Asker, Female Shez, Alir, Golvaig, Kvasir, Rearm Lucina, Lumera. Got Emblem Marth, Hortensia, Emblem Ike. Alright, so double emblems on the red. That is going to be stacked for sure. And starting on the 31st and going for basically 2 weeks. Male Corin, I know people have been waiting for Male Corin or Legendary Male Corin for a very, very long time. And he's in there. And I gotta say, they did a great job on the art. Look at the attacking art there. We're going to take a closer look. But I think he looks quite good. That's some clean art for him. So he's going to be a green dragon again, starting on the 31st, and it's good. You know, it's one of those inevitabilities. Like a legendary Male Corin was going to happen at some point, and why not now? And I think it fits. I'm eager to see what he's got. Okay. So Male Corin, Fire Legendary Infantry Green Dragon, wearing that pristine-looking armor, that cloak, the blue lining, just looks very ethereal, and he looks very serious too. Like he definitely has a look of consternation across his face. He's got that dragon stone floating in his palm. I guess I'm used to seeing Corin with a smile, just because he's always so welcoming. But yeah, he's showing his he's baring his fangs a little bit. It's serious time. So I think they did a great job with the art. I think it looks really nice. It has some hints of Hoshido with the teal rope and ties on the armor. It's actually kind of nice. And he is going to be a green dragon unit, which I think people were kind of going back and forth as to whether or not they thought he was going to be a dragon unit or whether they were going to make him a red sword unit instead. But it does look like they are going the dragon route, and you know, it's a good time to be a dragon. I'm not gonna lie, dragons have a lot going for them these days in terms of inheritable fodder and skills and kits overall. But let's take a look at what Corin's got here. So Hoshido's Breath is 16 might, has a killer slaying effect. Unit can counterattack, so built-in distant counter as well. At start of turn, if unit's HP is at least 25% and unit special cooldown count is at its max value, grant special cooldown count -1 to unit. Wow, alright. Getting a pulse as well, so you got killer slaying effect, you got distant counter, and pulse in the first 3 lines. At start of combat, if unit has at least 25% HP, grants bonus to units stats equal to the number of allies within 3 spaces of unit times 3 plus 5. Max 14. Really? Okay. Reduces damage from foes' first attack by 7 during combat. First attack normally means only the first strike, but of course for brave weapons it means both the first and second strike. Also, if foes' attack can trigger foes' special, and unit's res is greater than foes' res plus 5, inflict special cooldown count +1 on foe before foe's first attack during combat, so he has special rewind, which we're seeing, of course, more and more with dragon units. If unit's HP is at least 25% at the start of combat and unit special cooldown count is at its max value after combat, Grant special cooldown count -1 to unit after combat. And then adaptive damage as well. So they really are harping on this whole thing of him constantly being able to have his special. His special is lined up right there, so we're going to take a closer look. But we can see, of course, it's at 2 cooldown, right? And with the Killer Slaying effect, it's going to be at 1 turn cooldown, at 1 cooldown, which means effectively, aside from the stat boosts and the damage reduction and everything else built into the weapon, at the very least, he gets a pulse effect at the start of the turn as well as after combat. So he always has Dragon Fang shot at the ready, provided there isn't anything preventing him from doing so, or his special isn't being rewound himself, right? So, Dragon Fang Shot, a 2 cooldown special, boosts damage by 40% of units' res when special triggers. If units' res is greater than foes' res, reduces damage from attacks during combat and from AoE specials by percentage equal to 4 minus current special cooldown count value times difference between stats. Max difference between stats is 10. So it looks like it scales off of his how much res he has over his opponent, anywhere from 3% to 30%, right? Something like that. If unit special is ready and unit special triggered during combat, reduces the percentage of foes non-special reduced damage by X% skills by 50%. So he actually has damage reduction piercing if his special triggers or is ready. After combat, if unit special triggered, applies Divine Vein Water on target space and on each space within 2 spaces of target space for 1 turn. So his Divine Vein is actually built into his special. Okay. And Divine Vein Water applies the following effects to the space. Acts as difficult terrain for foes with range equal to 2. Alright, so ranged opponents it basically acts as difficult terrain for them. Okay, additional movement tile. Inflicts -5 speed on foe and reduces the percentage of non-special reduced damage by X% skills by 50%. Okay, so it's an in-combat debuff of 5 speed, right? -5 speed. And then also has damage reduction piercing on the vein as well, which should stack with the damage reduction piercing of Dragon Fang Shot, which would mean that it's like a 75% damage reduction piercing, basically. Well, when you have both of those effects active at the same time. Okay, so obviously, that's a busted special. It's got so much stuff going on for a character that's going to have their special constantly charged, which is his whole gimmick, right? Now, I gotta say, I personally have sort of mixed feelings about Intelligent Systems' approach to this new wave of specials that act as almost these Swiss Army knives of effects, just a ton of different effects built into the special itself. A lot of which kind of feels almost arbitrarily put on the special, because they're effects that you wouldn't normally see on a special. It doesn't really rely on the special proccing or anything like that. They're just kind of there. I don't know. To me, it feels a little sloppy, a little lazy from a design perspective. Again, the special is awesome. Like it's gonna be really strong for Corin. But I'm just saying from from a game design perspective, I don't love how they're introducing these specials. Yeah, I don't know. But speed res finish 4 for the A slot. It's going to be very strong for him. He's going to want that res stat, of course, because a lot of his, or at least some of his effects, scale off of res, and him having superior res to his opponent. The speed stat is going to be important just for the purposes of proccing his, or doubling up, right? I didn't mention before, but he has damage reduction, of course, built into his special, as well as his weapon. His weapon has fixed damage reduction, fixed number damage reduction, and the special has percentage-based damage reduction, and those two obviously synergize very well. We're seeing more tanky units have that recently. It seems like Intelligent Systems is kind of jumping back on that train of having that kind of coordinated, both fixed and percentage, damage reduction together. A high dragon wall for the B slot. If a skill compares a unit's res to foe's allies' res, treats unit's res as if granted +5. Well, there you go. So he gets like a phantom res effect on high dragon wall, which is obviously going to be really helpful for him to make that that max value difference of 10, which would give him 30% damage reduction constantly. Inflict speed res -4 on foe during combat. If unit's res is greater than foe's res, reduces damage from attacks during combat from AoE specials Difference between stats times 4, max 40%. So once again, you get another stacked on damage reduction. This effect will work in tandem with his special to give him additional damage reduction percentage. It's also really funny to me that High Dragon Wall has a res check, but then also has Phantom Res built in. So it gives its own condition. It helps itself out with its own condition. Which is really quite strong. Foes with range of 2 cannot warp into space within 4 spaces of unit. Does not affect foes with pass skills or warp effects from structures like camps and fortresses and rival domains. Okay, he's got some anti-warping as well, only against ranged units, but that is interesting having that built into High Dragon Wall. And then attack res ploy 3 for the C slot, which will obviously inflict attack res -7, ploy, and exposure on those foes within cardinal directions that have res less than the unit's res +5. So again, everything does synergize on his kit very, very well, all scaling off of kind of a res check. He's going to have really significant res, and that's not only going to just increase its tankiness as a whole, but that's going to give him a whole heck of a lot of damage reduction. It is going to allow him to actually activate a bunch of his skills in addition to his special as well as his weapon, and he's going to constantly have that special proccing where it's 40% of his res, which is already going to be sizable. So again, all of these res bonuses are really enhancing his damage as well in the process because he constantly has his special charged. And then he's going to have a ton of damage reduction, stat boosts, and everything else tied to it. So again, min-maxing at its best. I mean, he's going to have... we'll probably be able to see his... at least sort of his base stat in the map, right? Can trigger special over and over. Applies the Divine Vein that halves foes' damage reduction. So again, has that Pierce effect, which is very valuable. So the damage reduction Pierce.
This is the path I chose.
Very cool. And then the Beam. Very nice. So there he is. Oh, it doesn't show the stat. Okay. Yeah, I thought they would show his stats. Okay, so again, I think Corrin really strong, cohesive kit. I think what he set out to do just works really, really well. He is going to work. He's going to be hit very, very hard as a defensive powerhouse. He's going to be able to tank a ton, irrespective of where the damage is coming from, and he's going to be able to retaliate and proc his special constantly, and that special is going to also improve his survivability just from a damage reduction perspective, and it's also going to allow him to pierce, or double pierce, with his Dragon Vein as well, the damage reduction of the enemy. So that's going to enhance his damage that much more. Yeah, so he's gonna hit really hard. So naturally he is on green, and he is going to be paired with Rearmed Lucina and Alir, Legendary Alir. That's a strong color. That is a strong color. Rearmed are very valuable heroes to have. Legendaries are valuable heroes to have, obviously. Yeah, and they're both limited. They're both very recent, very strong. Yeah, they're quite good. That green is a strong showing here for sure. All right, so on red we have Kvasir, we have Emblem Ike, and we have Emblem Marth. So that's a really busted color. Just having the two Emblem heroes on red together is kind of busted. Emblem heroes are frankly disgusting in this game. In terms of how strong they are, they're absolutely ridiculous. Kvasir are strong too, of course. But, I mean, just having Marth and Ike there, they add so much utility, even just from an inheritance perspective, and being able to attach them to another hero. That utility, they themselves, Ike is really broken. I mean, they're just really strong. So red is honestly, red might be better than green in this particular instance. I don't know. I mean, I think green's still strong. I would say that red is kind of on the same level as green. I'll be generous. I'll say they're pretty much on the same level here. If we take a look at blue, so that's going to be what? Female Shez. That's going to be Legendary Fae, and that's going to be Legendary Lumera. So that's actually a strong showing as well. That's actually quite good. And then for colorless, we have Rearmed Hortensia, we have Asker, Mythic Asker, and then we have Golvaig. That's really strong too. That's actually really, really strong. Asker is arguably the weak link of that color, but I mean he still has value. For sure. Hortensia, a recent rearmed hero. Golveg is incredible as well. Has tons of great fodder, as well as just being an amazing unit. Honestly, I gotta say, this is like a super competitive banner. Like, each color has a lot going for it, really. I mean, I think that maybe... No, I can't even say, like... Honestly, you really can't go wrong with any of the colors. They're all really strong. They're all really strong showings. Arguably, depending on what your barracks needs, right? I mean, arguably, if you need Emblem Heroes, red is going to stand strong for you. And I think, honestly, red kind of stands strong for everybody. Just having both of those Emblem Heroes on there is quite potent. But I think just in general, again, like, I don't think it's too far removed, or red is too, like, far above any of the other colors. I think they're all, like, really strong on this one. Yeah, that's tough. It's probably, I would say it's, like, the most even color quality banner we've seen in a long time as far as Legendary and Mythic Hero banners go. Yeah, so once again, Legendary Hero Corin, Child of Dawn, starting on the 31st of May and going until June 13th. Yeah, he looks good. I mean, from the art, too, the attacking art in particular looks really great. Like, the special and the attacking art looks fantastic on him. Again, his kit, super synergistic, very cohesive in terms of what it accomplishes, what it goes for. Going to be hard to counter overall. And yeah, I mean, he's going to do his job well. He's going to hit like a truck, and he's going to have a lot of combined damage reduction as well as damage reduction piercing. The Vein is going to be pretty valuable in terms of allowing his allies to pierce damage reduction too. Just having that built in is quite strong. And in terms of the color representation and the quality of the units on the banner, can't complain. It's really powerful overall, especially that red. So for me personally, I am really tempted to pull on this banner. Actually, less so for Corrin and more so for the Emblem Heroes and for more copies of Golveg. And for Lucina, too. I don't have Rearmed Lucina as well. There's a lot of, like, really quality units on here that I don't have, that I decided to skip for a variety of different reasons, and would be nice to get here. That being said, I think next month there is a chance that Legendary Camilla is coming back, in which case I kind of need all the orbs that I have, right? And like for that, summer is also around the corner, which means, of course, we're going to be getting summer seasonals. We always get 2 summer seasonal banners. Those are always high priority for me. So this one's super tempting. We'll see. Chances are I might just do the first full circle and move on. Regrettably, I might do it begrudgingly. But let me know in the comments below if you are excited for Corrin, Child of Dawn, if you called it, if you guessed that he was going to be the next Legendary Hero. If you're pulling for him, best of luck to you. Hope you get all the copies you need of him and everybody else on the banner that you need. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, let's protect those skies.